The Emperor Crews are the strongest pirate organizations in the entirety of One Piece, possessing unimaginable power and ruling over many territories in the New World. However, each of these crews is very unique, having different power structures and utilizing different strategies to achieve their goals. There have been 7 Emperor Crews so far in the story, so let's go over each one and explain exactly how they work and why is the world government so afraid of them. For example, the Cross Guild is the newest Emperor Crew introduced in the story, and what if I tell you that there's actually one reason why they're the most fitting crew to find the One Piece? Although this pirate crew was originally founded by former warlords 𝐶ROCODILE and 𝐵HAWK, they only ended up being chief officers, while through a series of coincidences and a lot of luck, Buggy became the president. At first this annoyed them and they were set on killing Buggy, but then they decided to keep him alive as a figurehead so that he would attract all the government's attention to himself. The reason I said that this crew is the most fitting one to find the One Piece is because each member perfectly embodies one of the 3 things Roger attained on the sea. Well, fame and power. 𝐶ROCODILE obviously represents wealth with his near infinite supply of money due to his connection to many underground organizations. Buggy represents fame due to him being a member of the Pirate King's crew and his involvement in many major events. And of course, 𝐵HAWK represents power because he's, well, the strongest swordsman in the world. But there's another reason why this crew is so feared around the world, and why even the former Fleet Admiral Sengoku wants to eliminate them as soon as possible. You see, so far in the series, if a pirate wanted to earn some money, his best bet would be to capture some of the weaker pirates and turn them in for bounties. However, the Cross Guild completely changed this system and started to issue bounties for all of the Marine officers. This created a huge problem for the world government, as pirates could start hunting weaker Marines for cash, and even worse, ordinary citizens could get blinded by money and betray the Marines themselves. This already happened once when the Vice Admiral T-Bone was assassinated by an old man who desperately needed money to feed his family. Afterward, Buggy even took him into his crew to protect him from getting arrested. Sengoku noted that if incidents like this one keep happening, the Marines' morale would be crushed, as they wouldn't know who to trust anymore. But I know what most of you are wondering. How much are the strongest Marines worth? Well, all Marine captains are worth at least 1 star, which is equal to 100,000 berries, and the number can go as high as 300,000 berries or 3 stars. But for the elite fighters like admirals or Garb, the Cross Guild uses 3 crowns, which adds up to the total bounty of 3 billion berries for each of them. All this money presumably comes from 𝐶ROCODILE, which just makes you wonder, how rich is this guy? Now, although there's a lot of great things about the Cross Guild, they actually have one big problem that could eventually lead to their downfall. Imagine if the Cross Guild got into a battle with another Emperor's crew. Obviously, 𝐵HAWK would fight the captain as he's the strongest one, 𝐶ROCODILE would fight one of the crew's commanders, and the rest of the Cross Guild would, well, get obliterated in seconds. Do you see where I'm going with this? The Cross Guild has only 2 fighters in the entire crew. Of course, you could also count Buggy, Mr. One, and Alvida, but let's be real here. These 3 aren't surviving a minute against a serious opponent. But then again, what would they even need more fighters for? The Cross Guild lets other people do the killings for them, so that if they play their cards right, they don't really have to fight anyone. We don't know much about Cross Guild's territories, but as an Emperor crew, they most likely have a couple of the New World islands under their control. The last time we heard about the Cross Guild, Buggy announced in front of everyone that they would be going after the One Piece, which put 𝐶ROCODILE and 𝐵HAWK in a rough spot. They can either look like cowards in front of their whole crew and call off the hunt, or just go with it. I honestly can't wait to see what these guys will do next. I don't know about you guys, but I always like the stories in which even the weakest characters, like Buggy in this example, can end up becoming incredibly respected or powerful. There's actually a whole genre full of stories like these called System, and if you're interested in reading some of them for free, you can do it on the web novel website. For example, I've recently really gotten into this one System story called Reincarnated with the Strongest System. It's about the main character being reborn into the mythical world full of monsters. However, the interesting thing is that he has the strongest system, which allows him to constantly level up and upgrade his abilities. It's really cool to see how he starts as being really weak and then gradually becoming more and more powerful, literally becoming a god warrior in the end. If you want to start reading this amazing story as well, just click my link in the description to download the web novel app, type System in the search bar, and you are ready to go. But that's not all, because if novels aren't your thing, there are also a bunch of unique comics you can read. Click my link in the description below to download web novel app now and enjoy the largest comics and novel library online. There's still 6 Emperor crews left to cover, and let's continue with the infamous Beast Pirates. The Beast Pirates were an Emperor crew commanded by the world's strongest creature, Kaido. During its peak, the crew had over 20,000 members, and Kaido only planned on increasing that number. However, the Beast Pirates aren't your typical pirate crew, as they have one secret weapon that makes them unimaginably powerful. You see, the problem for most of the crews is that only a handful of people have devil fruit abilities, which makes most of the regular soldiers pretty weak. Well, this is exactly why Kaido partnered with former warlord Doflamingo in order to create artificial devil fruits and strengthen his crew. This led to the Beast Pirates being the crew with the most Devil Fruit users in the series, at over 500. Although 500 Devil Fruit users are a big deal, there are still two divisions within Kaido's crew that hold even more power than them. First is the Tobiropo, or the Flying Six, a group that consists of 6 very capable fighters, all handpicked by Kaido himself. But even they are not the strongest fighters of the Beast Pirates, because that spot goes to the mighty All-Stars: Jack the Drought, Queen the Plague, and King the Conflagration. All 3 of them are powerful executive officers, and each one has a bounty of over 1 billion berries. Another unique thing about them is that they all command ships themed around their Zoan forms, which we didn't see in any other crew so far. At some point in time, Kaido took control over Wano, an island full of strong samurai and ninjas. There, the Beast Pirates built numerous weapons factories that make use of the drunken iron ore that can only be found in Wano. They also made Onigashima, a nearby island, their base of operations, and even tried to move it to the center of Wano to crush its current capital. Besides Onigashima and Wano, the only known territory of the Beast Pirates is an unnamed winter island somewhere in the New World. Okay, we all know that Kaido and his crew are ruthless towards their enemies, but living on Kaido's land as a regular citizen is even worse. You see, citizens work in factories for minimal pay, just enough to survive. Leaving the land is prohibited, and if you try to escape, you'll just end up in prison working as a slave. Nobody dares to attack one of the Beast Pirates' territories, but if someone's stupid enough to do it, Kaido wouldn't really get involved himself and would send someone else to deal with it so he can focus on what really matters: getting drunk. And I mean, this guy really likes to drink. If Luffy didn't defeat him, he'd probably die of liver failure soon. Anyway, what's the ultimate goal of this crew? Probably just to find the One Piece, right? Well, not really. Their real goal is much more sinister than that. Firstly, they made an alliance with another Emperor crew, the Big Mom Pirates, which didn't last very long as they were ultimately defeated, but if they'd won, their ultimate goal was to find all ancient weapons and take over the whole world. So who are these Big Mom Pirates that Kaido made an alliance with? Well, the captain of this crew is the Emperor Charlotte Linlin, aka Big Mom. And although we don't know the exact numbers, we can assume that the Big Mom Pirates have tens of thousands of soldiers spread across all of their territories. The crew's main force, however, consists of 74 strong officers who are, get this, all Big Mom's children. Considering she's only 68 years old, I don't even really want to know how that's possible, if I'm being honest. Anyway, above all regular soldiers and officers sit the Sweet Commanders, the crew's 3 ultimate fighters: Charlotte Cracker, Charlotte Smoothie, and Charlotte Katakuri. There was also a 4th commander, Charlotte Snack, but he got demoted after he lost a battle against an intruder. We'll talk about how this crew deals with intruders a bit later on, as that's definitely one of my favorite things about it. Anyway, the main territory of the Big Mom Pirates is called Toto Land, and it's an archipelago that consists of 35 islands all governed by Big Mom and her children. All of these islands are named after something sweet, and the children ruling over them are called ministers. For example, there's a minister of yeast, a minister of eggs, and even a minister of alcohol. I mean, something's telling me Kaido and this guy would get along pretty well. In contrast to Kaido's territory, Toto Land is actually a nice place to live in, and a lot of people willingly come there. But there's a dark twist. Although people living there are completely safe and under Big Mom's protection, every 6 months, all citizens must donate 1 month of their lifespan to Big Mom. It's kind of like taxes in the real world, but less complicated. So what kind of protection do you get for this? Well, Big Mom's ships, called tarts, are scattered in the sea around all the islands, ready to shoot down anyone foolish enough to sail near Toto Land uninvited. But what if someone manages to avoid being seen and gets on the island? In that case, Big Mom has a unique 3-step plan to deal with the intruders. Firstly, Toto Land is packed with these weird animated chess soldiers who basically serve like policemen and ensure that everything's in order. In case the intruder defeats these soldiers, Big Mom will send one of her Sweet Commanders after them. If by some miracle Sweet Commanders are also defeated, the 3rd step will commence. Big Mom will get furious, causing a storm over the entire land. In addition, her entire army, including the majority of the officers, would instantly start marching towards the intruder, and there's no way anyone is surviving this. But how did the Big Mom Pirates even get this strong? It's all due to one thing: political marriages. You see, due to Big Mom having so many children, she often arranges these political marriages in order to make her crew stronger. The best example of this is the planned marriage between Pudding and Sanji, where Big Mom wanted to get her hands on German technology. Despite Big Mom obviously being an evil character, her dream's actually a pretty wholesome one. She wants to make a country where all races can live happily together. But this will never happen for one simple reason. Every single giant in the world hates Big Mom due to an incident in her past and doesn't want to live on her island. Also, she sometimes eats people, which definitely doesn't work in her favor. Okay, let's continue this list with the first good crew on the list. At least, I think so. The Red Hair Pirates. The Red Hair Pirates are led by their chief, Red Hair Shanks, and are more chill than any of the other Emperor crews. Up until now, they would just party and have fun almost every time we see them. Although they're completely carefree most of the time, when something serious happens, the Red Hair Pirates are quick to act and will show no mercy towards their enemies. Some characters learn that the hard way, but before we talk about that, let's see what it is that makes this crew so powerful. First of all, it's important to mention that the Red Hair Pirates are a relatively small crew, and all of their power comes from their leader, Shanks, his first mate, Ben Beckman, and 8 senior officers. Even though this is the first pirate crew we were introduced to in the manga, it's still completely shrouded in mystery and not much is known about it. We don't even know if anyone on the crew even has a devil fruit. However, one thing we do know is that both Shanks and Ben are masters of hockey, with even admirals being terrified of their strength. So what happens when the Red Hair Pirates get serious? Well, for example, when Shanks heard that Kaido was planning on joining the Summit War, he immediately went to intercept him and convince him to stay away from the fight. Then, he and his crew went to the battlefield and stopped the entire war. Another thing that will make Red Hair Pirates act is when someone attacks them or any of the people under their protection. What happened to Kid is a good example. Since Kid's attack was threatening to completely obliterate some of Shanks' allies, he instantly got serious and used one of his strongest attacks on Kid, instantly defeating him. Many subordinate crews sail along the Red Hair Pirates, but these crews are extremely weak and are only alive because Shanks is protecting them. Though, unlike Big Mom, Shanks doesn't protect them in exchange for payment. He just does it out of generosity and because he considers them to be friends. We don't know much about the exact territories that the Red Hair Pirates control, but from the recent chapters, it seems that 𝐿𝐵𝐴𝐻, the island of giants, is one of their main territories. Although we have no idea what the Red Hair Pirates' goal actually is, recently in the story, Shanks declared that they will finally be joining the race for the One Piece. Is Shanks' real goal to become the Pirate King? I guess we'll have to wait and see. The Whitebeard Pirates. The Whitebeard Pirates were commanded by Edward Newgate and were an enormous crew with almost 2,000 members. They're also one of the veteran crews in One Piece world, and the only crew on this list whose goal wasn't to find the One Piece, but something completely different. Back in the day, the Whitebeard Pirates were so powerful that they regularly clashed with the Pirate King's crew. These battles were described as legendary, and they would always end in a draw, as both crews were of pretty much identical strength. Even after their glory days, the Whitebeard Pirates were still considered an emperor crew and held immense power throughout the Grand Line. This crew consisted of 16 divisions, and each division had its own captain. In addition to this, they had an incredible amount of allies in the New World. 43 pirate crews that would come to support them whenever need be. The greatest testament to their strength is the fact that the world government had to prepare their entire marine force, 3 admirals plus 7 warlords of the sea, in order to fight this massive crew. But all this influence and power was never Whitebeard's real goal. You see, due to being an orphan who grew up in poverty, the only thing Whitebeard wanted was connection with other people, the family. And that's exactly what his crew was to him. One giant family. He's the father and everyone on the crew is his son. Whitebeard pirates had a huge amount of islands all around the world under their protection, free of charge. People knew not to mess with the land protected by Whitebeard because he would find them and make them pay. Heck, Bucky even had a chance to kill Ace while he was sleeping, but when he saw the Whitebeard pirate tattoo, he got scared, knowing that touching Ace would mean certain death to him and his crew. Although the Whitebeard pirates had a good run for almost 30 years, it all started falling apart after the Summit War and Whitebeard's death. But that wasn't even the worst part. After the war, Marco, the 1st Division commander, became the new captain and wanted to take revenge on the Blackbeard pirates. This really bad idea led to Whitebeard pirates suffering another devastating defeat, which ultimately resulted in the disbandment of the whole crew. In addition, other New World pirates claimed most of the crew's territory, with Blackbeard taking the biggest chunk. The only island that still remains under the protection of the Whitebeard pirates is Whitebeard's hometown Sphinx, personally guarded by Marco. Only 2 more insanely powerful crews are left to cover, and one of them are the notorious Blackbeard pirates. The first time we saw this crew, they looked like a bunch of weaklings who just acted tough, but as time went on, we got to see just how scary they actually are. Similar to how Whitebeard pirates had 16 division commanders, Blackbeard pirates have 10 Titanic captains, which sounds much more intimidating. 4 of these Titanic captains are members of Blackbeard's original crew that we saw in Jaya: Burgess, Van Augur, Lafitte, and Doc Q. However, after breaking into Impel Down, Blackbeard freed and recruited the 4 strongest prisoners along with the former head jailer Shiryu of the Rain. But then the Blackbeard pirates did something that no other crew in history managed to pull off. You see, in the recent chapters, we got an official reveal that the last Titanic captain is actually the former Marine Admiral Aokiji. I guess you can now say that the Blackbeard pirates are the coolest crew in the world. I know, sorry about that. Anyway, all Titanic captains have ships of their own and command a part of the crew. Although this next part is not fully confirmed yet, Blackbeard also has his own ship called Saber of Xebec, which seems to hint towards Roxty Xebec, the famous pirate who wanted to be the king of the world. This ship was unfortunately not revealed yet, and I personally can't wait to see what it looks like. In general, Blackbeard and his crew are the closest thing to the real pirates, with their evil plans and dirty strategies. They're the only crew that actively goes around islands pillaging and killing helpless civilians. But surprisingly, they also seem to have a softer side, as we can see that among themselves, they're actually great buds, often drinking and telling stories together. What really made the world recognize the Blackbeard pirates as a dangerous crew was their appearance during the Summit War, when they killed the former Emperor Whitebeard, and later took most of his territory. These achievements eventually led to them being recognized as the new Emperor crew. Blackbeard pirates have done many awful things so far in this story, like getting involved in the Rocky Port incident, kidnapping Kobe, defeating Heart pirates, and just recently defeating the hero of the Marines, Garp. But the Blackbeard pirates really seem to like kidnapping because they've also taken Pudding of the Big Mom pirates, one of only 3 known people in the world capable of reading poneglyphs. This makes them probably the closest crew in the race for the One Piece because all they need is 1 more road poneglyph. But the real reason this crew is so strong is because they know something no other crew knows. You see, during the past few years, the Blackbeard pirates have been hunting and killing people with strong devil fruits. The reason they do this is because they figured out a way to extract devil fruit powers from people and use them themselves. Besides wanting to become the king of the pirates and find the One Piece, Blackbeard also has another, more surprising dream. He wants the world government to recognize his main island, Hachinosu, as a legit kingdom, where he'll be the king. He also thought about naming it Blackbeard Kingdom. He probably fried his brain coming up with that one. The Straw Hat Pirates. Starting from just a little boat and no crew members, the captain of this crew, Monkey D. Luffy, has done a lot in less than 3 years and recruited 9 incredible crewmates. The structure of the Straw Hat Pirates is much different compared to other Emperor crews, as it has 10 members in total. Also, there's a severe lack of authority in the crew, with pretty much everyone doing their own thing most of the time, as they don't really have to ask for Luffy's permission to do stuff. However, when things get serious and Luffy gives an order, the crew will immediately assemble to fight any enemy in sight, even if the foe is way stronger than them. It's safe to say that the Straw Hat Pirates are the freest crew on the sea. They don't do any of the stuff the other Emperor crews do, like manufacture strong weapons, involve themselves in politics, or wait for the right opportunity. They just do whatever the hell they want. This freedom is a big part of the crew's most important ability, the ability to make friends wherever they go. Just look at how many people they allied with: the Kingdom of Alabasta, everyone at Fishman Island, Rayleigh, the Galila Company, Frankie's family. The list goes on and on. Also, although they're not officially allies yet, the Straw Hat Pirates have a strong connection to the Revolutionary Army due to Dragon being Luffy's dad. Another unique thing is that this crew doesn't hand out titles like officers or commanders. Instead, most of them have roles on the ship. For example, Sanji is a cook, Nami is a navigator, Chopper is a doctor, and, well, you get the point. Although the crew is small, they shouldn't be underestimated by any means, as their combined bounty is almost 9 billion berries. Also, with the awakening of Gear 5th, Luffy has become one of the strongest characters in the whole series, with even Kaido comparing him to the likes of Whitebeard, Shanks, and even Roger. But it's not just the captain who's strong. Literally everyone in the crew can manage on their own. Even the 3 weaklings of the crew, Usopp, Nami, and Chopper, always find ways to be useful and help in big fights. During the liberation of Dressrosa, many pirates who were saved by the Straw Hats vowed to serve under Luffy and formed the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. This fleet consists of 7 pirate crews numbering 5,640 members in total. Although we don't have the exact information, I'm pretty sure this fleet is even bigger than Whitebeard's former fleet, which is just insane! As you all know, the main goal of the Straw Hat Pirates is to find the One Piece, which would make Luffy the Pirate King. But all of the members have dreams of their own too, like becoming the world's strongest swordsman, drawing a map of the world, or learning the world's history. As far as the territories go, only Fishman Island and Wano are officially under protection of the Straw Hats, but I think we should also count every country they liberated on their journey. This would include Drum Island, Alabasta, Skypia, Dressrosa, and Zoe. The Straw Hat Pirates are undoubtedly an incredibly strong crew, but what if I tell you that by the end of the series, they'll get even stronger and unlock some mind-blowing abilities? If you're interested in hearing more about that, click on this video next where we explain it in detail.